as we're seeing the future of HR and how it's
Mhm.
happening, what are some top? What's a number one thing or top two to three things, one to three things that you could give your clients and some people to say with like the future HR is going to be this.
The future of HR is going to be it's going to be different than it has been. It's going to continue to evolve. I don't believe it is going to get easier. I think the job is going to become more
Yeah.
complex. It definitely is going to need that ability to retool,
Mm-hmm.
and get and or reskill, and get back to, that first word,
Mm-hmm.
humans, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to kind of, again, get back to that what we were talking about, of removing whatever the distraction may be,
Mm-hmm.
getting back to that.
I like that. Removing the distractions that are keeping us from uh,
Yeah,
connecting more with the human.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And because that in and of itself is going to help you to get back to that alignment, the
Mm-hmm.
the objective.
Mm-hmm.
What is the role that you want the person to be able to fulfill, and being able to put the right person in that role to be able to achieve those
Yeah.
objectives and goals.
For because you've mentored, um, what what advice? I mean, you just gave some, but what advice would you give to an emerging professional or a new professional coming into HR, coming out of college?
That's
What advice
really
would you give them?
that's really good, because actually I just kicked off a mentoring session that's going to run for the next 6 months, and that
Nice.
question has come up already. Um, and I have to say, um, vantage points, or take into consideration um, more views than your own. Okay, whether that's within. Okay, here's the knowledge that I learned in class about what HR
Got the basics.
compliance aspects
Right.
are, right, and I can define those, but that's not all. I think I have run into a number of HR people who believe that they believe that HR is just the compliance aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Somebody the other day said we don't believe diversity and inclusion needs to be mixed with HR, and I'm like, wait, what?
huh
It,
wait, okay, newsflash, it's just gonna get more involved.
yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna throw a little thing out here.
Okay, throw it out
I
there, and then get
saw
back
I
to
saw some I saw something the other day that I thought was awesome.
what?
It was an acronym:
Uh-huh.
Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, Jedi. So
Justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion.
yes,
Jedi.
so
Okay.
somebody can become a Jedi. So sorry,
Oh,
back to right.
Jedi certifications.
That's cool, I think.
Waiting my whole life for that.
And I think on the back of the camera here, there's a Darth Vader.
There you go. There's the definition: justice, right? And this idea of that. So taking those different vantage points into consideration, um, and the reason why I say that is because you're going to experience at some point in your HR career two or more versions of a story, whatever the truth is between that, and you're going to have to try to weave together what the truth is, that golden thread that combines all of those
Yeah.
stories together, whether it's a manager side of a story or
Mm-hmm.
between two employees or
Mm-hmm.
more
Mm-hmm.
who view and see an event or an incident occur. And so being able to take that counsel and just being able to sit down and kind of process through that and trying to
Mm-hmm.
find that thread of truth between
Yeah.
everything. Because in that, I think, we've mentioned this a couple of times, is the morality of a conversation, because
Mm-hmm.
things can be legal, not necessarily
Yeah.
ethical and or
Yeah.
moral. But I think if you shoot for the ethical and moral, you're gonna hit that compliance
Yeah.
aspect on,
Yeah.
a high percentage of the time.
Yeah.
But the only way you're going to be able to realize that is if you're able to take
Mm-hmm.
all those perspectives in consideration and
Right.
be able to process through them. So, and just in comment too about that, we don't want to bring any of those aspects, the equity, diversity, and inclusion into the conversation. Unfortunately, we are in a society that, as we've seen with over the last year or 2 years, the conversation is gotten even more divisive, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to be more of a somebody who's able to walk in and say, okay, this is your political view, this is your political view. Unfortunately, again, you want to talk about a distraction away from my ability to be able to meet on my objectives, right? Well, I believe that's going to be the next big bastion for HR. Is we're going to have to get across that line of what makes us different, right? And understand and have that awareness that we have these differing views, but what the heck does that have to do with my ability to be able to meet the objective of the job that I'm supposed to be doing and performing? And as HR practitioners, we're going to have to bring these two factions together. We're going to have to be in the work environment. This is going to be a dialogue that is going to have to be started somehow, some way.
You're going to have to be the HR leader, and you're going to have to be the healer.
You've got to be able to find a way to be able to help people to say, I'm sorry, I messed up there.